Our reading today comes from Acts chapter 1, verses 10 and 11. As they strained to see him, Jesus, rising into heaven, two white-robed men suddenly stood among them. "Men of Galilee," they said, "why are you standing here staring into heaven? Jesus has been taken from you into heaven. But someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go." We've probably read this a couple of times this past week or two, as we've marveled on not only that Jesus conquered death and rose again, but his glorious ascension, that he left the earth alive in glory. And so we see here those that watched him go, standing, staring at the skies. And these two white-robed men suddenly among them say, "Why are you staring into heaven? Jesus has been taken from you. But someday he will return the same way you saw him go." And so today we focus on this, that someday he will return from heaven the same way he left. And as I dwell on this, these times we're in seem so normal. I imagine the period between the minor prophets and the New Testament, or several times in Israel's history with a king not that worthy of note. Just these times that seem more of the same. Since Jesus left, 2,000 years of waiting, and we become complacent, and we think it probably won't happen in our lifetime. And then we get into this reality where does our heart even believe that he is going to return? And if he does return, is he really going to return in this majestic, supernatural, glorious way? And I would like to remind us of the history of our faith, that Jesus did live physically on earth, that Jesus did physically die, that Jesus did physically rise again, walk and talk amongst us, in that he didn't just fade away to an island, then nobody heard from him again. People watched him rise, be taken off into the sky, to be taken into heaven. And so we wait, assured by the scriptures, that just like he went, he is going to return from heaven in the same way. That these days we're in are supernatural days. That the faith we're living is a supernatural faith. We do believe in a man who conquered death, who left gravity behind, who is preparing us a place in heaven, and who is going to come back riding on the clouds. And when I think on this, the mundane, daily physical world seems like a footnote in his story, in my story. Lord, may we become so fixated on you. Lord, may we be intertwined with you. May everything of us fade away so that all of you can come. May we truly dwell on your power, on your supernatural ability. that everything, including our laws and our understanding, fall at your feet. So, Lord, may we live these days with one focus, with one purpose, with one thing that we are eagerly anticipating. And may that be you, Lord, coming down from the skies, returning from heaven. Amen.